The Dungeons and Dragons phenomenon. This game was a massive success in the 1980s, but how much do you really know about it?
It was invented in the 1980s. False.
Thanks to the hit series Stranger Things, many people think that Dungeons and Dragons was invented in the 1980s. In fact, it first appeared in 1974. But the 1980s was when it exploded in popularity. Part of its success was due to a moral panic in America. Christian groups denounced the game as a dangerous influence on children, saying it encouraged Satanism and suicide. This was totally unfounded, but it gave the game a lot of free publicity and produced a boom in players.
It's a board game. False.
No, unlike games like Cluedo, D&D does not have a board. It's about creative storytelling around a table. Each player adopts a fantasy identity as a human, elf, goblin, or other creature. The person in charge of the game, the dungeon master, DM, acts as a narrator, telling the players where they are and what their goal might be. The players then decide how to confront the challenges they encounter on the way. The positive or negative results of their actions are often determined by rolling dice. But it's the players and their imagination that advance the story.
It's for children. False.
Playing D&D requires commitment. The simplest version of the rulebook is 32 pages long. So players are generally teenagers or adults. Given the creativity involved, it's no coincidence that many of today's most successful storytellers are fans. George R.R. Martin, writer of A Game of Thrones, and the showrunners of the TV series based on his novels are all D&D players.
It's also a film. True.
The new D&D movie, Honor Among Thieves, starring Chris Pine, is a comedy adventure set in the game's fantasy world. He leads a group of thieves trying to steal a magic amulet from an impregnable castle. The tone and characters are clearly inspired by Guardians of the Galaxy as much as by the game itself, but that's okay, because D&D can be whatever you want it to be. D&D fans would say that watching a movie can't be as exciting as playing yourself. But the film has engaging characters, amusing dialogue, and some good action. Above all, like the game, it's fun.